Hello, folks, and welcome back to LFG, your favorite franchise, unfiltered franchise education podcast. I am Michael Hyam, and my co-host, Leanne Caruso, is here. Leanne, say hello.
Hello.
We're so excited to be back. We've got a action-packed podcast for you here.
It
But
feels like
before we get to
it
that,
feels like a minute since we recorded, but
yes, definitely for me, because remember I had the flu at that last one, so you took on the meat and potatoes of it all,
yeah,
and then you told me it happened to be the most listened to podcast, so
I
people
know.
didn't have to listen to my annoying voice.
Maybe
She
everybody was
lies,
like,
people, she lies.
no, but it is close to one of our most listened to podcasts without you. Maybe it's a sign.
Fine, I'm just gonna mute myself from here on out.
I think that's impossible.
Yeah. What's going on, Leon? How's it going? How was your week? Anything new and exciting since
Yeah,
the
no,
last
I mean,
time I talked to you?
last time we connected, we were at IFA, and then I got like a good little 10 to 12 day bout of bronchitis.
That's
Did you end
great.
up getting sick?
I absolutely did not. No,
Amazing.
I somehow avoided that. I
Seems
know a
like
few
a
people got
lot of
sick, but
people. Yeah, I got COVID and flu
I
and
think it might have been because every time you coughed, I said, Leanne, why don't you cough into your shoulder instead of out into the open to everybody?
Mm.
Remember?
Oh, so it's my fault that everybody got sick. Sure.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
Yeah.
You've had a show in between. I haven't gone anywhere, but you've had a show in between. How was Houston? Oh wait, yeah, let's talk about Houston because your LinkedIn is the pictures in it looked like you guys had more of a good time than you had any work time.
Well,
Mm.
you know how it is. We work hard and we play hard.
Mhm.
I think most of the franchise industry is like that, but no. So this one was especially fun. I mean, there's a couple answers in there. I'll tell you, a lot of people are like, I think they're tired of me pitch posting like busy show floors, and I'm always like, oh, look at the thousands of people that come out to our franchise shows. These are business buyers, and all I do is, sell, which I'm really not trying to sell. I'm just showing people what the show floor looks like and how we just get so many people out to these events
Wait,
because
hold
they
on.
all
I want to point out that Michael just said, I'm not trying to sell.
want. I'm just showing what's going on the show floor. That's all. But so I
Mhm.
decided, you know what, I'm going to go a different route and show them a little bit of what we do outside of the show floor, which is a little bit funny because that's all we do, right? We're selling franchises. But no, that's not true. We actually had a super fun franchise versus franchise soccer match.
Oh, fun.
So we there was literally like 10 people versus 10 people playing soccer. I was totally winded because I'm just not used to running for 30 minutes. I mean, I do run on a treadmill here and there. And then get this, we played dodgeball. So we got to smash each other in the face.
Nice.
You know, and sometimes you just want to do that
Hmm.
to me,
For
I'm
your
sure a
client?
lot of to our clients, to each
Uh-huh.
other, to coworkers. No, I joke. We were all on one team, and then they brought on. There were other people that came on as well, and we played. Let me just say, it was one of the top best things, maybe top three best things I've done in the last 10 years. I highly recommend it. If you haven't played dodgeball lately, go play dodgeball. So much fun. The ring was actually inside. We were having our client appreciation party where we just have a good time. We were sitting around in a lounge and drinking, and I mean, we don't drink in franchising, but the dodgeball court was right there in the bar. So after we had a few drinks, we segued into playing sports. And anyways, needless to say, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Unfortunately, several people, got a little scraped here and there, but all in good fun. And the Houston show was phenomenal. Anyways, I digress.
Why don't you, speaking of franchise shows, why don't you tell everybody? We just sent out a little baby announcement the other day about something new we're doing um, that tie to different cities that you'll be at in with the franchise show. Next one is in Orlando.
Correct, but not
I like
always
I
tied.
like how you
Not
look so
always tied to the show.
confused.
I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is she talking about? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Where I was going to make a LinkedIn teaser, and you're like, no, 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 don't do it yet. I joke, people. I'm actually not going to say a word about it. All I'm going to say is if you'd like to hear about our latest and greatest in events, go to franchising after dark. Franchise
.com.
ing afterdark.com. And then next week on our next podcast, we'll actually elaborate and tell people about it. But I think just telling people we have franchising after dark,
It's enough to get people to
it's
look.
enough to get people to go to the website and see
What are
what
they up
that's
to
all
now?
about. And it may or may not have something to do with franchisemingle.com.
Mhm.
I'll put it out there and I'll leave it at that.
Oh my God.
uh,
Okay, so before we go to Franchise Royals, let's talk about our podcast sponsor, Netsertive. If you've listened to this podcast, you know I work with a lot of marketing partners in franchising. One frustration I hear all the time is disconnected systems, reporting in one place, ad platforms in another, and no clear view of what is actually working locally. That's where Netsertive comes in. They bring localized strategy, expert teams, and their MLX technology platform together so performance data lives in one place and locations can grow more efficiently. If that sounds helpful for your brand, visit netsertive.com to learn more.
Now, before we get to our franchise royals, Leanne, how about
Mm.
introductions to our guest who's going
Oh,
to be here? I love that you're taking initiative and jumping ahead and reading. It's
oh,
good.
that's true. We should talk about who's going to be on today. Who's
Take it
our
away,
guest today?
Leanne. Take it away.
All right, today we have Kaia Watkins, VP of Channel Marketing of Flint Direct. We met Kaia last year in Atlanta. We've tried to have her on a couple times, but keep getting rescheduled. So I'm glad we finally get her on. She's so great, and excited to hear more about her and Flint Direct.
Actually, I think we originally met her at the IFE in New York at the
Oh,
Javits
that's
Center.
right. We did. That's right. It was
Ah,
New York City. Yep, yep, yep.
I'm so glad that my memory is working today. That's
Right. Well,
nice.
you're much younger than me, remember?
And Kaya is an all around super duper nice person. I'm so excited to have her on the podcast today. But before we tell you any more about her, let's get to our franchise royals. Leanne, who is your franchise royal this week?
So my franchise royal is Lizzie Webb. And I don't know if you guys know Lizzie yet. I think she's starting to get more well known in the space, but she's at Image Studios. She's part of our mastermind group. Image Studios is also a client, and but it ends this month. And so Lizzie has just become like the greatest joy, and I love working with her. It's going to make me so sad to not get to work with her on a daily basis, but I'm still going to haunt her with text messages and memes and Instagram. But they're doing really, really great things over at Image Studios. She's probably one of the most organized, smartest people I've met and had the pleasure of working with. So Lizzie Webb, you are my franchise royal this week.
Oh, wow, that was such a nice send off. So that's it. Are you being nice because you want them to hire you back for another job,
We've already extended one. We're done. We're
or
done
you
now.
actually like Lizzie? Is that what it
I
is?
love Lizzie. I love Image Studios. I love Lizzie. I love everything about it. I'm going to be really sad to leave this one.
I'm sure. I know. Of course, I joke. Lizzie is wonderful. She's just a pleasure to be around. She brings sunshine into the room, and that was a nice send off there. Yeah. So you asked me who's my royal, Leanne. Thank you for asking. I don't. My royal is just as nice, and I don't know. We may or may not have had her as a royal. I know we've had Karen Booz, who is the royal, on our podcast before, but I don't know if we've ever had her as a franchise royal because if we haven't, we absolutely should have sooner. For those of you that may or may not know Karen, she is wonderful. You have seen her at probably every or any franchise conference. The lovely lady with the strip of blue hair. I'm not going to go into why she has it, but I do know the story. Actually, I know many stories, good stories.
Episode 16, if anybody
There you
wants to go back and
go.
listen to
I was
Karen.
just going to say, you probably don't want to be on a plane with Karen But outside of that, she is wonderful to be around. Karen is part of Answer Connect, and everyone knows Answer Connect. But if you don't, it is a call center. They can do everything and anything for inbound, outbound calls for your franchisees. Karen, this is just to say that we love you. And Karen is a strong supporter of Franchise Assembly and always has been and does all of our Let's Grow events. And recently signed up for our mastermind,
Yes.
which is great too. Karen, you know that we love you here, and you are my Royal this week. So before we head to our, oh, sorry,
Wait,
Leon.
wait. Before we
Oh,
before we do that, we have to mention that Belle White had her baby. And
oh, and
so
we didn't make her a franchise Royal. Look at
well, we're
us.
gonna make her like the ultimate queen this week. But yeah, she had her baby Noah Grace Byers on March 13th. So that means that I have to produce this podcast by myself. So hopefully I do it okay. But congratulations
That
to Belle and
is
her family.
great.
Yeah, beautiful
Belle,
little baby girl.
congratulations. That
Yay.
is amazing. And you know why we always have separate royals? It's really because we can never agree to having one and the same. But I think in this case, we can agree to
Yes.
have Belle as our
Yes.
duo royal. Belle, congratulations. That is amazing. Wishing you
Yeah.
nothing but health and
Three
happiness.
of my favorite people on this planet, Lizzie, Karen, and Belle. They're all my
Wow.
faves.
Oh, if only Lizzie's name was started with a G, it could be a KGB. That would have been nice.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay, so before we head out to show and tell, learn more about Paperfly.
Creating marketing materials for your franchise shouldn't be a choice between speed and brand consistency. Paperfly gives local franchises the power to create and adapt brand-approved marketing materials in minutes without needing a designer. With design templates and one central portal, campaigns launch faster, giving you built-in visibility and complete brand governance. See why franchise networks trust Paperfly to deliver thousands of brand-consistent assets at scale. Visit paperfly.com.
All right, thank you, Paperfly, for that commercial. We are back with the essence, the meat and potatoes, our show and tell segment. This is a segment where, of course, you all know we bring on an industry leader, an expert in their field to share insights and ideas and all that good stuff on franchising. Today, we have Kaia Watkins, VP of Channel Marketing at Flint Direct. Kaia, tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about Flint Direct and everything we need to know.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. Kaia Watkins, and I'm with Flint Direct. We are a local marketing service agency. So we work with distributed brands of all sizes across all industries, and we really focus in on the local marketing level. So how can we help franchisees stand out in their community, generate leads, connect with the people in their backyards, and grow their business that way? I've been doing this for 20 years now, kind of across the board, been in creative, account management, strategy, program development, and just love local.
That's awesome. Tell us about Flint Direct because we met you in New York City last year at IFE, I think, and
Yes.
you guys are kind of like new coming into the space, but obviously not new as an agency. So tell us more about Flint Direct for those who don't know you guys yet.
Yes, exactly. So we are part of a larger group called Flint Group, and Flint Group has been around for 80 some years. And we've been working with equipment dealers and other distributed brands for 30 years. It's all I've done here. And we started working with some local franchisees and some local small businesses over the last few years and really saw the connection between the local marketing we're doing with dealerships. And we work with real estate brokers and bankers and all kinds of different distributed models. Hadn't done a lot with franchise yet. And after talking to a few people, we're like, okay, what we do here, you're having the same challenges that the dealerships have, that the agents have, that the brokers have. And so we just took a chance, went out to New York and met with a few folks, met some great people, you guys included, and have found that the franchise world is really a good fit for what we do. We see a lot of opportunity to have that personal connection and one-on-one support from a marketing perspective at that local level. The franchisees are just so busy with all of their responsibilities. They don't have the marketing expertise a lot of times. And then the brands don't always have the volume of people support that the franchisees are looking for too. So we try to fill that gap for them.
That's awesome. So now that you've kind of been in it, why do you think local marketing breaks down so often for franchise systems? Even though most of the time there's tools, budgets, resources, all of that good stuff. But what do you think is the challenge there?
A lot of it is here's the tools. There's not a good way to execute it other than the brand executing for them. And the brand is often focused on, I don't want to say control, but it is a little bit that control and consistency, right? And so then they're focused more on the brand. And just because you're targeting around a zip code doesn't mean you're doing local marketing. I think that is often the gap is you got Z's across North America. Every region is different. People respond differently. There's not that nuances or the nuance that can be scaled effectively. And people in local markets can feel that. You know, I grew up in a really small community. You can sniff out a corporation real fast because those small business owners and the franchisees, they're people you know, they're people in your community, and you want to work with them differently. And they talk to you differently than a corporation does. So when big brands have, you know, the toolkits and they'll probably run pay-per-click campaigns, you know, and cover everyone's areas, but it feels like the brand. It does not feel like the business that's in that community. And that's who people buy from. That's who they are working with. That's who they know. And so that gap between brand strategy and local execution and the realities of what works in local, I think, is sometimes missed.
Agree.
And so you kind of answered a little bit there. So do you think, and we don't like to generalize, every franchisor is a little bit different, but do you think that they underestimate the power of true local connection? Like, how is that different from just geo-targeting or swapping in a city name?
Yeah, so I'll use an example for Minneapolis, St. Paul, right? Everyone knows Minneapolis, St. Paul. Some people know it's called the Twin Cities. If you're local, you know it's the cities. And so if someone is using in every reference of it, Minneapolis, St. Paul, or the Twin Cities, you know, you can just tell it's not genuine. Where if someone calls it the cities and says, "Hey, we're the best, you know, HVAC company in the cities," okay, they live here. They are real people. It's not an automated, you know, spray and pray type of a thing. And so that local language helps. Now with, I think, the AI summaries and how search is evolving, having those local terminologies and that local connection is also more important because you have to show that you're relevant to that buyer where they're at, and having more of the local connection is going to help, you know, make sure you're visible there.
Which is so true because I've been to Minneapolis, but I've never heard that. It's called the cities. I mean, I've heard the Twin Cities.
So
it's called the city. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, I was working with a Z a couple of weeks ago. We hadn't met before, and she's located in the Twin Cities. And I said something about, I'm actually headed to the cities next week. And she's like, the cities? You know the cities? I'm like, oh yeah, it's the cities. And but those types of things, and you think about the rural communities. One example, I'm from a town near Kirkoven, Minnesota. No one says Kirkoven, it's Kirk. And so if you say Kirkoven, if that shows up in the, you know, the toolkits that are managed by corporate, it just doesn't feel genuine. And then people can kind of tell like, oh, it's not, it doesn't feel like the local owner is involved.
So that is where brands can kind of confuse localized kind of versus meaningful. I feel very similar because I'm in Tampa. My address says Tampa, but I'm actually like my little section of town is New Tampa, and that's not on anybody's address. But if somebody were to just put Tampa, like that would be over there.
Right.
But if it's New Tampa, it's one of these right here. And a lot of brands don't know that. Like they don't, when they're doing the naming conventions for that, they're not taking those kinds of things into consideration. So
exactly. I'm actually working with a Z right now out of California, and she's having that battle right now with the brand. And she's like, we're, you know, whatever town she's in. She's like, that is technically where our office is. That's not where our customer base is even. Like their customer base is elsewhere. It's outside of right where the office is because it's very industrial there. And she's like, they won't budge. I don't know what to do. So can you help make marketing work knowing that we have that hurdle right from the get-go. And so that is a great example of the frustration of the brand just not hearing what that Z needs from a local marketing level.
So from your perspective and what you guys do, what does an effective local marketing program actually look like then?
First, it always starts with a conversation with that franchisee. We want to hear what they've done, what works, what their frustrations have been. And then we look at their actual area of coverage. One thing we see is if the brand is running, let's say, localized pay-per-click, they tend to spend generally the same amount in each area, and then you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. So they might spend 500 to cover, a rural area, which, hey, that's awesome. You're going to get a lot of impressions and a lot of coverage there. But if you're in a highly populated area that's really dense, $500 is not going to do anything for you. So first thing is we sit and talk with the franchisee, we learn about them, and then we actually put together a plan specific for their area based on that conversation. So every franchisee gets a unique plan from us that we then manage independently and specifically for them. So they don't get opted into a bigger, larger campaign where they're getting the same thing as everyone else. We like to make sure their website has localized content so that it's relevant. We tie the messaging and the ads and the keywords and everything. It's got to be super localized. And then we also talk about what are you doing in your community? How can we make sure we're connecting what you do every day in your community? Maybe you're coaching Little League, maybe you're volunteering at the homeless shelter. What types of things are you doing in your community that is going to resonate, or how can we connect you and your business to that local community through messaging?
Totally. And now I don't want you to share your secret sauce or anything, but or is any kind of specifics on a local digital marketing mix that or tactics you want to share?
It depends on the industry and the audience and what your objectives are. I would say the 1-2 punch for a lot of cases, it's pay-per-click and then some Google responsive display, so that you're filling the funnel a little bit up here and then really hammering them with that pay-per-click. We go back and forth. LSAs, Google likes to really mess around with LSAs. I feel like sometimes they're super effective, and then just like they flip a switch and all of a sudden, no, pay-per-click is where everything is coming in. So we keep a close eye on that, but that it's a simple combination, right? There's nothing fancy about pay-per-click and Google responsive display. The secret is we work with that local owner and make sure that the messaging is really specific and the targeting is specific. And then we also don't just set it and move on. We pay attention to what's happening and we optimize and we talk to them, because maybe call volume is coming up and we don't see that because call tracking is going to the brand. So we stay in touch too to understand, what are you guys seeing? Are the leads that are coming in good? Are they converting? And then we optimize from there.
You guys do Meta
There you
too?
go.
We do. I would say also that's kind of hit or miss with the quality of leads. It's easy to get the leads. It's not so easy to get the leads to answer a phone call or respond to an email. And then we find a lot of times that the leads on Meta, their budget maybe isn't as open to the cost that the business requires. So even if you adjust your household incomes, you still kind of end up with a mismatch sometimes.
Yeah. So you just brought up the word budget. What kind of budgets are you seeing these days on a local level?
Well, we got one guy who said he's got $250 a month for us. I'm like, okay, that's a little tight.
Yeah.
Usually we'll get, I'd say 1,500 a month up to 5,000 a month. Usually more in that 1,500 to 2,000 a month for a location. We do like to look at, they'll give us the budget. We'll come with that recommendation. And if they're pretty strict at like, no, I don't want to go above this, what we will do is we'll run it, but we also go back to them with, okay, if you were to add another $250 a month, here's what that means for the impact on leads. Because Google and all the different tools, you can really tell where that lift would come from if you invest just a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so interesting that franchisees aren't willing to spend the money. And then when they don't spend a lot of money and it's not working, then they're like, digital marketing doesn't work. I was like, well,
Correct.
you didn't spend the money.
Exactly. And if you can show them, what I've learned is if you can show them results pretty quick, then they're excited, then they'll lean in. We had one that has been really dragging their feet. They were doing some display ads, which is good. It's good for awareness. It's not always lead driving. But they were running pay-per-click through the in-house marketing team with the franchisor. And she called and she's like, I'm only getting like 1 or 2 leads a month. And, they're investing significantly, probably 1,000 a month is what is coming out of their pocket for that. And that just, the math doesn't math there. And so we took her out and ran a separate pay-per-click campaign for her area. And within days, she's like, I'm already seeing leads. Thank you. And we don't have a big budget. We're doing $750 a month, I think, for her on pay-per-click, but it's working because it's for her. It's not for everyone and it happens to cover her area.
Right. Very cool. Anything else did you want to cover on local marketing? I've got a little rapid fire, unless you've got some
No,
more insights that you want to share.
I think one area that we see where we fill a gap and what we have found to be a really unique thing for us and something for the brands to keep in mind is having that person the franchisee can call and who will respond, and not 3 weeks later, but actually be someone they can depend on to help them and solve the problems. So it could be anything from, I just need to get into my Google business profile, to, hey, I need to actually run a campaign, or our sales are down 20%, help. And we just hear a lot of times that they don't hear back from anyone when they're working with some of these large organizations. And so that's where we try to fill that gap. We're not trying to make anyone look bad. We just want to be an extension of the brand and make sure we carry through the compliancy, but make it work at that local level.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I think a lot of digital agencies, like on the local side, are missing that true customer service with the franchisee, because when the franchisee doesn't understand what they're getting, or even marketing, like they don't have to set up a PPC campaign, but they have to at least understand what it gets them and how it benefits them and why spending the money is important. So I think that there's a miss there in a lot of the franchise local marketing agencies. It's like too much turnkey without the like strategy and local piece of it.
Absolutely. One thing that we saw kind of shift in our business, it was like 5 years ago where we saw like rapid growth for us, was when we started doing educational series for the partners and for the Z's and the dealers. And for that reason, exactly, Leanne, it's if they don't understand it, they're not going to invest their money there. So whether it's pay-per-click or social media or website SEO or local SEO, if they don't know how it's going to help their business, it's really hard to get them to invest their money. And it's coming out of their pocket. It's small business. And so even a $500 investment, it's a lot to a lot of these C's.
Yeah, 100%. All right, rapid fire. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. One word answers only. They're pretty easy, but
okay.
You got this. Okay. Local marketing, art or science?
Science.
Marketing budgets, underfunded or misunderstood?
Underfunded.
Go bold or go safe?
Go bold.
Slack or email?
Email. We're not a Slack organization.
You're not?
I've never used Slack, and I know that's awful. It's just we're not a Slack organization.
I'm sad for you. All right. Data or instincts?
Instincts.
Speed or for perfection?
Speed.
Okay, since you're not new to franchising anymore, but overwhelming or exciting?
Exciting.
Okay. LinkedIn or Instagram?
LinkedIn.
What's the next event we can find you at?
Man, probably your guys's. So yeah, probably. We'll for sure be at your marketing conference, Michael. I know we need to connect on that, but we're gonna have a team at the MUFC down in Vegas next week, and then hopefully be out in New York in May again. So.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right. Anything else?
No, this was great. I appreciate you guys having me. It was fun to sit and visit. I love talking local marketing. So
yeah, it's a fun topic. So if anybody's interested in Flint, how can they find you or chatting with you more?
Yep, I'm on
for LinkedIn or phone or reach out via email or LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn is always a good one. Just Kaia Watkins. I'm probably the only Kaia Watkins on LinkedIn. Otherwise, you can find us at flint-direct.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll probably see you in May, then
Yeah.
IFE possibly, but
All right.
all right, sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Thanks,
Thanks, you
Kaia.
guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaia. Wonderful. So good to have you on. But we are going on to Franchise Mingle. Okay. So, that's something we didn't talk about. Literally next week, which will be 2 days after this airs, we are going to the EF 100 Gala in Toronto, which is held downtown I know this, but I don't know if you know this, Leanne. It's a very historic nice building called the Cardew, right in downtown Toronto. It's always nice to get back there. And Leanne is coming to Toronto. Wow, just for this.
What?
Fantastic. That is great. I hope Franchise Assembly is not paying for you.
I have to go I have to go buy a gala dress, apparently.
There you go. And Scott, I hope you're listening. We should plug Scott into the LinkedIn post. Scott, we are excited to come to the EF 100. Hopefully, we're seated next to each other, Leanne.
True.
But if not, you know many other Canadians. But yeah, on that
Everybody
note,
thinks I'm Canadian anyway. I might as well.
there you go. I thought they thought you were my assistant.
Not true.
Okay, folks. So Franchise Mingle, what do we have coming up? We've got the EF 100 Gala, March 26th. I don't know if there's room for that, but you can check it out, maybe. After that, we've got several franchise shows on the horizon. We've got Chicago, Orlando, a first-timer in New England, which is happening in Rhode Island. If you're not registered in Rhode Island, it's super easy to get your registration. It's only $900. Join us at the Providence, Boston, Connecticut franchise show. We're also another first timer. We've never had a show in Baltimore ever in the past. We've never had a show in Portland in the past. Look at us tapping into all these markets. So if you need franchisees in any of those cities that I just mentioned, reach out and give me a call. We're also headed to Friend Camp in New Jersey, June 1st through the 3rd. There is still room in Friend Camp, hosted by our good friends, Nick, Paulus. If you don't know about Friend Camp, just Google Friend Camp. It's a nice boot camp for franchise development and growth. And of course, save the dates for our Hello Mastermind retreat, which is coming up in Portland, Maine. Who doesn't want? How beautiful is Portland, Maine? Happening May 18th through the 20th. Leanne, why don't you give us the last three save the dates? I feel like I'm rambling on here.
You are. Franchise Marketing Live in Denver, November 2nd through 3rd.
Can't wait for that.
Fall Retreat in Denver, November 4th through 5th, right after that. And then just that little teaser you did at the top of the show, Franchising After Dark, Orlando, April 26th.
Wow. Everything you need to know about your franchise education was just listed. Do not listen to the drab about those big events. They totally suck. And I just find that whenever I go to an event that has, 4, 5, 6,000 people, you just can't make any connections. Here, with hundreds of people, you can make real connections. I kid. I don't mean that they suck. I just mean that, it's tougher to forge connections. So please support the little man. I kid. Oh my gosh, I got to stop. We will see you next time. This episode was brought to you by Netsertive, Papirfly, Franchise Assembly, and the National Franchise Show. We look forward to hearing back from you in 2 weeks.
Yay. Bye.